if you've been around the sun a few times, you will have encountered this scenario. Talk about you as a dude.
Yes.
Yes? Somebody's written and says, listen, hi guys, thank you for bringing the lawyer. I have a child aged 6 years. I have been the sole provider. My baby's dad has not been providing and he's not in our lives. I would, however, like him to pay child support. I know he has moved on and he's with another family, but my attempts to reach him have been futile. How do I get him to pay child support and participate in our child's life? Now, Esquire, in terms of this scenario, we were painting several pictures because life and experiences. Okay? One bit is like, listen, I want to have a baby. Okay? And this ideal scenario, I want to have a baby. All I need is you as a sperm donor, and then salute, peace on earth, heal the world, make it a better place for you and for me and the entire human race. That is what. The other is that one of, babe, we need to talk. Imagine we are pregnant. And then what are we going to do about it? But then we is her, and she's already made the decision that no matter what the guy says, because this isn't a scenario where these people are not husband and wife. You understand what I'm talking about? We're living a single life. We have decided that we are keeping but the baby, but the guy is not involved in that decision of we are keeping.
Okay.
Like what?
Yes.
Yeah, because in fact him is like, Allah, why are we pregnant and how? In fact, let us abort quick, fast, minus slow. What are you still talking? Why are you still here? Be quick. Okay?
Okay.
Then obviously there's a third one wherein in my opinion, this is one of those scenarios like, okay, so you're pregnant. I don't want to keep the baby and I don't want to be involved in a baby. Peace out. All right? Third scenario, that one, hostile. Jatelo, what are the man's rights in this particular point of view? Because him clearly is like, okay, first of all, how did you get pregnant? The man could have been set up. There are so many forms of contraception. Clearly here, one of them was not working.
Yes.
So it's like, why? How? How are you pregnant? I don't want to have a baby with you. No, that was not in the plan. But she's like, no, but I'm keeping the baby. You see, you can't force her to abort.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So they always make it sound like the nigger is hostile. No, I just don't want to share life with you. Let's talk about the rights of the man first before you talk to a girl baby. Yeah.
I'm first wondering why you're even standing. Why are you standing?
And
you want to get closer to me to hear this information. But there's no right of a man here.
Allah.
Unfortunately.
Allah.
Neither do we have a right of a baby girl.
Allah.
We don't have any rights.
It's
the
a
person
child.
who we're looking at is the right of a child, and that's what our law looks at.
Okay.
And so, one, we understand that our law protects the child. A child is even envisaged and provided for under the Constitution. That a child needs to be protected,
Right.
needs to be provided with a shelter, needs to be provided with a right to religion, a right to a name, needs to be provided with even a safe environment,
Right.
Against any hostile climate, for example.
Right.
And so,
Yeah.
the law provides two things, and I
Right.
want to actually read today,
Right.
because I don't want to get it wrong.
Right.
That under Article 53, 1, E says that every child has a right to parental care and protection, which includes equal responsibility of a mother and father to provide for the child, whether they are married to each other or not. And Article 2, Sub-Article 2 says a child's best interests are of paramount importance. That's what the law looks at, that the child needs to be provided for, whether you are married or not. That child has a right to be provided for by both mother and father. And so in this case, the rights of a boy child, the father in this case, is to
Out the window.
they're out the window. Whether you like it or not, the law is going to look at the child.
So let us be very clear here, Kevin.
Yes.
All right. and I need you to go and get yourself some water, my friend.
Yeah.
Because even if she entrapment, she can set you up, nini, but at the end of the day, kama mtoini yako, as a dude, you have to provide for that child.
You have to provide for that child, but you said whether the child is yours or not.
Yeah.
But the law says the parent. And so in some situations you'll find us if you're in doubt,
Yes.
that probably you were played and some other dude was in the picture, and they went and maybe the chick cheated on you,
Right.
and you're not very sure that that child,
Yes.
the ears are not like
Yes,
your ears.
Yes.
Or probably the skin tone is not your skin tone.
Yes.
You have a right to request the court to force
Right.
the mother
Right.
to go for that DNA test with you, so that now they can make that decision on and force you to now provide.
Esquire, the law is progressive, but how did men get the short end of the stick in this particular instance? Because if I'm a scheming, conniving female, all I've got to do is like, hey, hold up, wait a minute. All I need to get is Oscar's sperm and I'm good to go.
Yeah, like that. There's a story I heard about Institute.
That one, a billionaire. You saw
Yeah.
that one, and then some chambermaid, whatever,
Yeah.
got the manjus, and the rest, as they say, is history.
Yeah, true.
But not just the man getting the short end of the stick.
Yes.
But also we have guys who go through tough situations,
Right.
and probably you now in a marriage situation.
Yes.
You're together.
Yes.
And you drift apart.
Yes.
And the lady walks out.
Yes.
And so you need some kind of help.
Yes.
To raise the children.
Yeah, because El Nino, it gets you don't have a dryer in the house. Somebody's got to dry the clothes. Yeah.
So we find ourselves going to court, and actually sometimes
Right.
some of my clients are
Right.
men.
Yes.
And other clients are women.
Yes.
But also most of my clients
Yes.
happen to be men, because the mother to the children
Right.
walked out,
Right.
and they found themselves in this situation where
Yes.
he was left
Yes.
alone
Yes.
with maybe 5 kids.
Wow.
Okay.
And so
You can't cope.
we can cope, and so the law looks at the child
Right.
and the children, and,
Yes.
and the children require the presence of their mother, or
Yes.
they require their mom to come in and
Yes.
contribute.
Yes.
And so probably there are different ways. Maybe I should go to that the law provides for different ways of taking care of a child. So in our scenario, when we look at the lady,
Yes. Because she's asking, how do you get him to pay child support and participate? Because I know, any lawyer what is told, Eliud can get him to pay child support.
Yeah.
That's a walk in the park for you. But to participate in that child's life,
Yeah.
that's like
where the
that's
rubber meets the road.
yeah.
Trust
Because
me.
what if I'm hostile?
Yeah. Actually,
How do you force me?
that is what
to
will
smile?
turn.
Quite play.
That is what will turn you to that. That's what you're saying. We have people actually being fathers or raising their paying bills. Or
Don't say people. Just talk in first person.
me.
Yeah. Talk about yourself.
let me ask you, like in a scenario where she moves on and she has someone else, and that person is financially stable, are you still obligated to be part and parcel of taking care of that kid?
we're looking at the rights of a child, not even your rights as a father. We're looking at the rights of a child.
Right.
The child has a right for the participation of both father and mother in his or her life, and the participation will be probably through shelter, emotional support, will be through education, religion, entertainment, and we look at some of these rights of a child. But there are also categories that we look at in the children's law, where we have either a joint custody. When you say that somebody has already moved on,
Okay.
do you still need to participate in that life of the child, because the mother maybe has moved on and is now married?
Yeah, like this one.
Yeah, like
Yes.
in this case, we have something we call the joint custody and the legal custody. When we talk about legal custody, this is the right to make decisions about the life of a child. And so you will need to have the legal custody, or rather, the legal custody to make decisions.
Okay.
So, for example, when you're traveling in this country, it's very difficult for you to obtain your visa to live with a child if you do not obtain a consent from the other parent.
Party, yes.
And so, in that scenario, the law looks at you as a couple, as a man and woman who are raising a child, to have that legal right to decide on the travel rights, who actually travels with the child.
Okay.
And so you require that legal right.
Okay.
And so when the two of you have the right to make the decisions, what school do we take the child to? How much school fees do we actually look at? What kind of food are we going to be feeding the child? What kind of holidays are we going to be taking them? The law will be giving the two parties what we call now the joint custody. And the joint custody is the right to make these pertinent decisions concerning a child. And so joint custody is important, and that's what probably this listener actually made this inquiry, because they need also the father to have that joint custody to be able to make decisions pertaining to this child, which is basically participation in the life of the child.
So we're going to get into that, because you know what, child support, Wakili has basically is broken it down, but he's also kind of delved into that of participate in the child's life. He spoke about emotional support. Wena, as you say, Abstract has said, you're a hostile Zach. How do you force me to participate in that child's life? What are your questions? Those are mine. We're going to come back to that. And how do you ask them, my friend?
Just dial the number 0719-012-600 or Spice FMKE on both Facebook and Twitter.
Madama said, you know what? I have a child aged 6 years. I've been the sole provider. My baby's dad has not been providing, and he's not in our lives. I'd ever like him to pay child support. I know he has moved on and he is with another family. Come on. But my attempts to reach him have been futile. How do I get him to pay child support and participate in our child's life? Now, also think about that before as we come back, Wakili. Yani mutu ameghost. So, assuming that even if this person, let's assume, you know what, he wasn't a foreign soldier, came in and then now he's fighting the war in the Ukraine. Okay? Is a Kenyan lakini amebadilisha namba, lakini yako
Haiti.
Where is this place that people are rowing canoes in Costa Rica? Yako Diani. Okay? Musambweni. How do I catch him? All right? We're going to get to that next. It's a hard no. What are we on about? Well, you know what? It is that Tuesday, and from last Tuesday, back due to great public demand, by the way, we decided, let's get a lawyer proper into the studio. And you know what? He has got, what I love about him the most is that he's got a master's in law, LLM for the University of Nairobi. He is the senior partner of Ngugi and Bugo Advocates. Thank you so very much, Advocate Eliud Baba Bugo, for coming through. Eliud Ngugi. Sorry, I'm confused here. What's going on? For coming through to... I'm looking for the
gavel.
Yes. So for the gavel, for coming through on the court. And listen, found it. If you want to, you want to put any question to Esquire, all you've got to do is get onto our Facebook fan page.
Yeah, that is Spice FMKE on Facebook. The hashtag is #Scott, #Spice Drive.
All right, now you're on Facebook, peke yake too.
Exactly.
But if you want to clap your lips or beat a story concerning today's issue, and if you're a dude, imagine you should.
Please, yes.
Yeah, get on there.
That is Spice FMKE on both Facebook and X, or you can dial the number 0719-012600.
All right, we've got 5 minutes to top of there. Let's do this. So a lady wrote in and basically says, listen, hi guys, thank you for bringing the lawyer. I have a child, aged 6 years. I've been the sole provider. My baby's dad has not been providing, and he's not in our lives. I would, however, like him to pay child support. He has moved on and he's with another family, but my attempts to reach him have been futile. How do I get him to pay child support and participate in our child's life? Now, Abstract, you more or less, your scenario is how? What, my brother?
Yeah, actually, it's just part and parcel of the same story. It's the way things happen. They date you thinking it's going to rain men, and then they figure the time where it's about to school fees and every other thing. They remember, Allah, this individual called Kevin exists somewhere, and supposed to be paying fees. That's when they start touching base with you.
Okay, but remember, Esquire said it's not, according to our constitution, it's not about the rights of you as an individual or baby mama. It's about the child, right? And so it goes back to, okay, paying child support. And you said most of your clients are men, Baba.
Yeah.
Esquire. But this is the bit that, it's, man, does me headed. How do you force a man, one, to participate in a child's life? Because you say that can turn you hostile, Kevin.
A good one.
Right?
Yeah.
So it's detrimental to the child's well-being.
Yeah.
I'll be there, but skip you, child.
Yeah, because like I
In
said,
fact, you're a bastard. I'm here. But imagine I don't want to be.
yeah. That's
Chenzi. You'll amount to nothing like your mother.
Oh no, yeah. That's why you say we end up having men paying child support and not being fathers to their kids.
Right?
Yeah.
So that's one thing. All right. Well, not demystify. Break that down. And then the other one, she said early on, you know what? He's not in our lives. But my attempts to reach him have been futile. So we now have 47 counties, senior.
Yeah.
Okay. For all we know, this guy's in Mandera. Okay. Forget somebody who's, Uko in the Bikini Atoll there in the South Pacific. Here's somebody here. Can you find somebody?
Yes, you cannot run away from the law.
I like that.
The hand of the law is long. Yeah, very long. So it will come after you.
Yes.
Whether you hide anywhere in the corners of this country,
Right.
or away from this country and
Right.
decide to go to Congo,
Right.
or somewhere in
Right.
Zaire,
Right.
the hand of the law will come after you. And so this is what we call notices that will be sent to you, summons.
Right.
They will be sent to you.
Right.
If this lady goes to court
Right.
and says, this is a man,
Yes.
we want him to participate in the life of a child,
Yeah.
but we cannot find him.
Right.
In court, you'll be told to actually go for something we call substituted service, which
Right.
is basically take up an advert.
Yes.
There's a page
Wow.
in the newspaper that has
Wow.
tiny
Wow. Yes,
advertisement.
yes, yes,
Yeah,
yes.
and you'll be able to do that advertisement,
Right.
because out of your 20 or 30, 50 friends,
Yes.
one of your friends
He's
is
going
going
to
to
see
it. Yeah,
it.
he's
Yes.
going to see it. They're going to reach out to you, and you will know that you're being looked for.
Oh God.
So that is one.
Okay. And then
The other one is if you do not, maybe when your friend comes to you and says, "Oh, I saw something in the papers about you,"
Yes.
and now even before we go to the newspapers, nowadays our courts have adopted the technology.
Yes.
And during COVID, we
Right.
were forced to
Yes.
actually use WhatsApp
Yes,
and
yes,
messaging.
Yes.
And emails to
Yes.
actually send documents.
Yes.
And at the moment you want to send a court
Right.
document to somebody,
Right.
and you share that with them on WhatsApp, and
Yes.
there's a blue tick,
Yes.
and we take the blue ticks back to
Yes.
the magistrate or
Bas.
to the judge and tell
Bas.
the judge, here,
Bas. Yes.
Okay.
they blue ticked,
Bas.
they read.
Ooh.
If they don't
Respond.
honor and come back to court,
Eh.
then we are going to get what we call court orders.
They're gonna get court orders. We're getting into the next star. This is deep.
Sugar and spice and everything nice. Oh yeah, spice it down.
Spice up your life.
But today was a very pertinent question, and this is one, it's age old. A lady's written and it says, "Hi, I have a child aged 6 years. I have been the sole provider. My baby's dad has not been providing, and he's not in our lives. I would, however, like him to pay child support. I know he has moved on and he's with another family, but my attempts to reach him have been futile. How do I get him to pay child support and participate in our child's life?" Now, before the break, you were saying you were finishing that point on maintenance.
No, it was actually on the court order.
On the court order, yes.
Yes, and Kevin wanted to go hiding.
Yes.
And I was saying that during COVID, we were allowed to serve documents, court
Indeed.
documents
Yes.
through WhatsApp.
Yes.
And the moment you get your blue ticks, you can come back and show the judge or the magistrate that,
Right.
see, he is aware that
Yes.
there's an ongoing case,
Yes.
and they are just being arrogant and they're ignoring this. And so once you tell the court that, the court will say, okay, we see they are aware,
Yes.
because you cannot be condemned unheard
Yes.
and without being given a chance to come and defend
Bas.
yourself.
Bas.
And so once that is done, what will happen is the court will continue
Yeah.
and hear the lady
Right.
with her case.
Yes.
And she will be able to share and say, I have taken my child to Braeburn
Right.
or Hillcrest, or
Yes.
I've taken them to this other school.
Yes.
And the school fees is 500,000
Come on.
shillings.
Yes.
And they spend 100,000 on food,
Yes.
and they have to go for entertainment.
Yes.
They have to watch
Yes.
movies.
Yes.
They need to watch movies on
Yes.
certain
Clothes
channels.
allowance, they need to buy Gucci 100,000 every month.
Yes.
Such things.
Yeah.
So they'll make such claims, and you're missing in this conversation.
Bas.
You've refused to show up,
Bas.
and because you're not there.
That's how people get, I need to be driven around in a Range Rover only.
Hey.
Such
So,
like things. Yes.
Such a scenario could happen.
Yes.
And Kevin is still hiding, and he has refused to show up in court.
Right.
And the lady, our dear lady,
Yes.
listener here,
Yes.
is going to get the court orders.
Right.
And with the court orders, again, he's going to send the court orders to
Bas.
DJ
What's up?
Abstract.
Yes.
on WhatsApp, blue tick again.
My
Right.
God.
And once Kevin refuses to show up
Yeah.
and pay up that
Yes.
amount of money,
Yes.
or come and say,
Yes.
oh no, I was not given a chance
Yes.
to be heard, I need to actually appeal this decision, etc.
Right.
Then if Kevin does not provide for this child,
Yeah.
but the lady is requesting
Right.
that Kevin participates in this life,
Yes.
in the life of this child,
Yes.
then something called contempt
Of course.
of court orders will be presented again
Yeah.
in court.
Yes.
And the request will be, because he's now in contempt,
Yes.
we need to have him to come back and tell us why we should not imprison him. So DJ Abstract is going to be put in civil jail
Oh God.
until he
Yes.
honors
Yes.
the court orders.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, yeah.
So listen now. Some people, that's why they're not on WhatsApp. They don't. They've got no trail, but they did have a phone number. Can you then go, because she says obviously this guy's gone dark, but they used to communicate somehow before 7 years ago. He had a mobile number. So question: can you then go to the MSP and say, "Hey, Wena, this was Abstract's number was Kwachi's number was this. Court order, give us the new one." Can you do that? Can you compel them to give you the number?
The current number from service provider?
Yes.
No. Maybe that would be far stretched.
Fanti.
But
Thank you, Jesus.
but we've said the means that we use is a newspaper.
Yes.
So,
A boy
well,
of
the
yours
first
good.
one is,
Yeah.
if we know his home,
Yes.
we're going to present the documents
Yani
to
Gishagi.
him at his home, or we know where he works.
Yes.
So we'll bring
Upper two standard.
hapa hivi kwa studio. You see somebody waiting out here with some documents.
Where are the people?
So they will carry these documents and bring them to you.
But-
If they don't know where you work or where you live, they'll go, or maybe they know where you live.
Yes.
They will come, and if the guards have been alerted and
Yes.
told not to
Yeah.
open the
Yeah.
gate,
Yeah.
then they have a right to display
Yeah.
and post these court documents
Yeah.
in a visible
Yes. Yeah.
in a visible way.
Imagine Baba hapo kwa estate.
So
Kwenyu.
they actually display
Yeah.
your issues
Yes.
in a place where you are not able to miss that information. And so you come home, at the gate you find some documents. Unaambiwa, hey,
Right.
askari tells you
Yeah.
there's some
Listen.
message for you.
We've got questions for you, so dial that number.
0719-012600.
I'm gonna get on there.
Spice FMKE on both Facebook and X. The hashtag is Squat is Court, hashtag Spice Drive.
Me might get it in my own compound. Wewe sasa you wewe sasa wewe get yako sasa everyone Kirende will see. Let's talk to you, Louis. Good evening, brother. Sorry for keeping you waiting for a minute. Wow, yeah, we don't have cats.
No, my good behavior.
Yeah, so
Can I take two birds with one stone?
Go ahead.
So I'll tell you about my day and then ask the lawyer one or two things. That's okay?
Yeah, so ask the lawyer first.
Okay.
And then we finish with the day.
Mburu, is it Mburu or Nganga?
It's Ngugi. Eliud Ngugi.
Ngugi. Yeah. Good evening, sir. Quick one. I have a situation, so I've been trying to help someone. Huh? There's a lady, she was thrown out and beaten by her husband. She has 3 kids. She knows where the guy works, actually in Gava. The guy has refused to maintain, he didn't pay rent for the lady and things. So she went to children's court. Guy hasn't turned up 3 summons. So what next? What do you advise next?
Well, if the person has not showed up in court and they've been summoned, then the next course of action is the case should continue. That's what the order of the day is.
Yeah,
if you don't show
they
up,
went to children's office.
case will
Sorry, not children's office, not court.
in the children's office. Sorry, if the person has not showed up,
Yes.
to deal with the issue would be at the children's court. Because the children's office is only meant to be more like an out of court kind of a space where you're able to settle the issues. And if the person has declined to honor those summons and invitation to come and settle and have that discussion, then I would advise the lady to proceed and go to court, file a case for maintenance at the children's court.
Okay. Thank you very much.
All right, so brother, you've got that one. And let us do this. May we call you back shortly and then you tell us how your day was, bro?
Yes, bro.
Yeah, thanks, brother. Cheers. Good one. Okay, so that was Louis. That question that's been asked and answers. Let's go on to the Mutandaos.
Then I'm going to go to Facebook. There's one, Juliet Moniki. Thank you for tuning in and actually commenting. She goes by saying, go to the children's office near you, and if it doesn't work, go to children's court and settle it there.
All right, so let's get those 2 comments that are, Esco has not answered the question. Bro.
Okay.
So, for example, Doreen, you say, you know what, having a relationship with someone can never be coerced or forced. Wakili. If he is on the birth certificate, proceed to hire a lawyer and start the child support process. I don't know what the Kenyan law says about a person being compelled to have DNA. Advocate has answered that for us. For proof of paternity, sadly, this one won't be up for discussion and agreement since the dad is already a hostile parent. So if you have a heart for it, please by all means proceed. All the best. Dot Wayne say, okay, either parent can stay with the child other than ask for child support, give him his child. But what if he doesn't want his child? I like what Lokumu says. It's realistic that you two can't be together again, but the bond between you is the child. Try to make him understand that you are interested in the child support and you respect the fact that he moved on. That is, if at all, you know his whereabouts. I happen to struggle sometimes back to offer that child support to my twin sons. We bore with a woman from Githunguri area of Kiambu, and there you had to go there, by the way, of Kiambu County, but also not able to reach her. So imagine, we men also go through the problem of reaching out to our kids too. I think, abstract from all the comments.
Yes.
Is there anything that, because I think Eliud has encapsulated everything.
Everything, yeah.
Even the things that you did not want to know.
To hear.
Yeah, to hear.
Yeah, me. Today will not.
My friend. Yeah, it is the total opposite of last week.
La 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 la.
Last week you were walking on
the ceiling.
Today, oh my God, it's come out about us. It's about man, it's a lead balloon.
It's never been this cold in my life.
I'm telling you. So what's your advice then
to this lady? Because
obviously, yeah. First of all, to men, I'm so happy, my brother, that I retired my penis. Okay. So what? Lakini sasa, what is your advice to men who are still swashbuckling? and men about town one, what's your advice to them? And then finally, I think you've advised this woman.
Yeah.
But
Well,
anything else
for
you
the
can tell
men,
her? Yeah,
actually,
yeah,
if
yeah.
you, what we said,
Yes.
if you actually summoned, you need to actually show up in court, because one, what I understand and what as a legal fraternity we understand is that the law does not operate in a vacuum.
I like that, yes.
So the judge or the magistrate is aware of day-to-day
Yes,
events,
yes.
is aware that we have a hard economy,
yes,
the dollar
yes,
has
yes,
shot
yes.
up,
Bus,
etc. and such
bus,
things.
bus.
So it's important for the person to show up in court, because as the lady seeks to have the participation of the father of the child
Right,
in their life,
right.
one of the things they are going to do is they are going to compile a list
Yeah.
of probably what their budgets look like.
Sharp.
And the man, if you actually are proactive, you'll be able to come and counter this.
Yeah.
And what the
Yeah.
law does
Yeah.
in this children's court
Yeah.
is that, one, I've said it doesn't operate in a vacuum.
Yes.
Number two,
Yes.
they're going to ask you to provide, let's say, your payslip,
There we go. Yes.
and
gosh.
come prove how much you're making,
Yes.
to see whether this is you are able to actually sustain this life.
Yes.
Number three, the court is also able to do something we call if you are living together, there's a theory, or rather there's a provision that you have to maintain the same standard of life.
Yes.
So for example, if your children were attending a public primary school,
Yes.
and you go separate ways.
Yes.
For example, this lady has not told us whether she's a sole provider,
Yeah.
the baby is 6. She has not said whether they were together at one point. But if they were
Yes,
together at
yes,
one point,
yes.
there was probably a certain standard of life the children were exposed to.
Right.
So maybe they were only exposed to, let's say, our local channels.
Bus.
They were not exposed to these other movies
Right,
and
right,
all these
right.
entertainments,
Yes.
and the expensive clothes and shoes that people demand for.
Yeah.
And so if you come and say, when I was with this
Yes.
lady who has brought me to court, we used to live in Swekimau,
Yes.
and
Yeah.
in Swekimau we were renting a 10,000 shillings house.
Bus.
The court is able to actually use that to say that you have to maintain the same standard of life.
Hallelujah.
You cannot now come and say you want to move to Westlands
Yes.
Yeah.
and pay 100,000 shillings in
Bus.
terms of rent.
Bus.
And so there's that theory, and
Bus.
that's why men need to actually turn up in court and defend themselves.
I love it.
And when they do that, then they don't find themselves being disadvantaged.
I like that.
There's something else.
Yes.
If there's a man, you've already, like in our case,
Yes.
he says he's already moved on.
Yes.
Again, the court does not operate in a vacuum.
Yes.
Your payslip
Yeah.
can only be utilized so far
Yes.
or so much.
Thank you.
And so your payslip, for example, once you pay your
Say amen. This
Hey,
is helping you here.
Hey.
once you pay your shelter
Yes,
and
yes,
your
yes,
meals
yes.
and all those things,
Yes, yes.
once you're able to pay such bills,
Yes.
and you are actually, he moved on, he has
Yes,
his
and
own
our
family,
family, yes.
and he's able to pay. He's only left, let's say, with 20,000
Yes,
or
yes.
10,000 shillings
Yes.
at the end of the month.
Yes.
And the lady wants also
Yeah.
this man to come through.
Yes. Yes.
The court that does not operate in a vacuum, when
Yes.
it demands to see your payslip
Yes.
and also the lady's payslip,
Yes.
it's because it wants to see whether you have the capacity to
Bus.
provide
Bus.
so much.
Bus.
But also for this lady who is
Yes.
listening and
Yes.
who came to
Yes.
us and asked the question,
Yes.
one of the things that would be encouraging is that even if a man comes and says his payslip is already committed
Yes.
in so many facilities,
Yes.
they
Yes.
are buying properties
Yes.
all over the place,
Yes.
and
Yeah.
they take home almost nothing.
Nothing.
The lady
Yeah.
is guaranteed that the law
Yeah.
says or looks at the child.
Right.
And I've had scenarios in court where the magistrates have actually asked the men, unataka mtoto akule nini?
Yeah.
And they actually proceed and say, no, you're going to
Yeah.
provide something.
Yes.
It's not punitive.
Yes.
It's not something out of the ordinary that the person is likely to go out and beg.
Yes.
But they say just go out there, look for 10,000 shillings,
Bas.
and take care of this child, because the child
That
has
is
a
fair.
right. So the courts are fair,
Yes.
and people should not be afraid of actually going to court.
Madam, I look forward to Tuesdays because I think you asked 3 pertinent questions there, and Advocate Esquires answered those
Over
and
above.
more.
Over and above.
My friend, I have retired mine. Men, buy chastity belts.
Yeah.
Get the padlock and just use the damn thing for susui. Because,
It's not funny.
who's laughing?
Hey, no.
Nani anacheka?
Hey,
Si ndio wewe unacheka?
hey, macho. This is not
Listen.
tears of joy.
That's why you've got to ask your questions, and that's why we enjoy that when you come through on Tuesdays, especially when we have Wakili in the studio. You have got a question, it's got a legal premise. All you've got to do is get onto our Facebook fan page.
Yeah, our social, that is Spice FMKE on Facebook. The hashtag is Quatch is Court, hashtag Spice Drive.
Hey!
Where?
Spice.